reality and DJs have control. And not the other way around.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
Please, you can kill it.
Nobody trusts anybody now.
Come on, you hate. You want to live forever?
I got a really bad feeling about this.
Godzilla will live.
And welcome back to the Monster Movie Stompdown. We have made it back after a few months break. That would be because of the man to my left, known as the Lorax. You can see him there. Go ahead and say hi, Lorax.
Hey.
So, but we are back, 118th episode after a few months break, and we are super excited. Obviously, you got Sludge, your host here. You've already said hi to the Lorax. And, of course, you got to say hi to the Grandmaster in Texas. It's Ruben. Ruben, say hey.
Hey, guys. Glad to be back.
So Ruben, of course, if you may have kept up and know, has become a grandfather. And since we're back, it's been a couple months. I would love for him to tell everybody a nice little update about Miss Mabel. Ruben, how's it been going being a grandfather?
It's great. I'm making a lot of road trips up to San Antonio. Luckily, it's only 2 hours away, which in Texas is nothing. And we go up there often. We got to see a lot of milestones. She just sat up by herself. She's 6 months old. And she got baptized here a couple of months ago, actually, about a month and a half almost. So she's baptized. She's officially Catholic. And it was great. It was a great little ceremony. And she's babbling. She got her first tooth. She just got her first tooth, so she's teething like crazy. And it's fun watching the two parents, rookies, trying to learn how to manage her on the fly.
Yeah.
And it's tough being a grandparent because you want to give them all this advice, but you also want them to, you don't want to overwhelm them, So we've taken a hands-off approach, but she's doing great. She's getting bigger and bigger every day, and they're getting ready to start her on solid food. Well, semi-solid. She just has one tooth. What can she eat on that? She just got one tooth. But, she'll turn 7 months. I don't know when this show's going to air, but she gets 7 months on the 20th of this month. So it's been great. We've been up there, spent way too much money on hotel rooms because they've got a little apartment. They don't really have room for us. So spending a lot of money on hotel rooms. But you know what? It's worth every penny because I don't want to miss a thing. So I'm still gonna see if I can make my way up to San Antonio here before I retire. So it's incredible. I love it.
Awesome. So, and I know we stated, which I'm so excited, man. I remember getting on Facebook and seeing the videos of Mabel for her baptism. I was just like, oh yeah. I'm like, I'm not your uncle, but I'm your uncle in Tennessee. That's just super stoked
there you
for this.
go. Yeah,
like, I was so pumped and excited for him, and so it's awesome. And I love seeing her grow on the pictures that RJ and Anna put on Facebook all the time. It's super great. So that was awesome. So another update, okay, that we need to give because we told you guys that we'd be back after 2 months of a break, but obviously it's been longer is because somebody decided to go and have a fourth heart attack. Would you care to explain that situation?
Well, it happened. And I'm doing better now. Things are going right along, and it's not something I wanted to have, but I just needed to maybe let you have another month off. And
that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody earlier. A buddy of mine called me earlier this evening, and I was like, "Yeah, we're fixing to start recording again because we had to take an extra month because Mark had a heart attack. So we had to take another month off so getting started." And he's like, "I was telling you, man, your dad's so selfish." He's like, I was like, "Yeah, he really is." So
it just had a couple weeks vacation coming, so used that all up real quick. And,
man. Well, I'm going to give part of his fast recovery on that concoction that you had him drink.
Oh,
That's
that was
right.
the
That's
absolute
right.
worst.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling
what
you.
got him.
Worst
That's what got him
concoction
back
that
in this chair right here.
Yeah, the
It
stuff he
is.
had me drinking was just terrible, absolutely terrible. And I tried. I had like 3 glasses of it. It ain't like I didn't give my best, but cranapple, cranberry,
No,
pineapple,
no apple
no
stuff.
pomegranate. That's what it was.
Pomegranate. Okay,
Oh,
so
it's absolutely horrible.
And you know, I want to make sure I'm getting healthier. I've been working on trying to get my health in line a little bit, and you know, other than you, your dad, my grandfather, there's no real sign of heart disease in our family. Right. So, but, you know, like our uncle, your brother, no heart issues. My cousin, no heart issues. You know, all my cousins, you know, everyone's good. But you've had heart issues and Grandpa did. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, just in case to be safe, I want to do some studying. What can I do to help myself? And I find in studying, because I mean, some of the health stuff, dude, is too astronomically expensive. And I think it's just wrong. But so in a lot of studying, I found out that 3 things, especially cranberries, pomegranates, pineapple, and of course honey, is extremely good for you health-wise all around. But those 3 berries and a pineapple, an apple, whatever, you know what I mean? So cranberry, pomegranate, and pineapple are very healthy for your heart. They actually will, parts or some of the minerals in pomegranate will will actually naturally clear out your arteries. There's parts in pineapple. There's chemicals or minerals in pineapple that helps rebuild arterial walls. So, I mean, these things are just like, it's like a super juice I came up with. That's what it was. It was a super juice. And so it's cranberry, pomegranate, pineapple, and of course you want to do no added sugars, all natural stuff that you can, and then you add in honey. It's going to be raw, unfiltered, organic honey, and you mix it all together in just this huge super juice. And I don't care what you say, it's freaking delicious, man.
It tastes like garbage, man.
So good.
Well,
So
I read the combination when you were texting back and forth, and I agree with Mark, man. I don't know.
This is
Man,
so
I just
bad.
do not know.
It's so
Man,
bad.
I'm telling you, like I've had, so I drink it regularly. You know, I mean, I drink it a cup a day, a glass a day of it. I had to actually slow myself down because I would be drinking like 3 or 4 glasses, and it's not cheap buying all this stuff.
Oh, no.
But Gavin's had it, Colton's had it, my wife's had it. And everyone's like, "This is delicious." The boys are like, "Can we have more, Dad?" I'm like, "No, screw you guys. You're young. You're fine. You don't need
Well, the
it."
proof would be
it
like
costs a lot.
what you should have done is taken a baseline blood test, blood work, and then do that for 6 months or so, and then go back and see what your numbers look like.
Yeah.
That's actually a good idea. I may have to go see the doctor and be
Something
like,
you got to work on
"Yeah,
right there.
let's do that."
yes.
So, but
We're
I'm
all
feeling better.
falling apart. I got
Overall,
I went
I'm
to the
feeling
doctor.
better. So things are going a little bit better, but I'm taking it easy and I don't know. Maybe it's time to retire from the pizza business. Not really sure what I'm doing yet.
well, I think we all think it's time to retire.
I know
so.
what you guys think.
But
I thought it was time. I think his second heart attack was it the second one?
it's been-
Yeah,
third
'cause
one,
you-
third
you-
one.
Was it the third one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the
'cause I
third one was
remember-
where I had to
trying
go
remember.
pick him up from work because he's driving to work having a heart attack, and then I had to get him there and be like, "You need to go to the hospital," and he's like, "No, somebody's got to do this job." You know,
Yeah.
that one was your third heart attack.
No,
That was
that
the
no,
third
that
one
was
is the one I'm
number
like,
two.
he's going
Was
to
that number
retire,
two?
right?
Yeah.
You
Number
know?
3 is where, that's crazy. 1, 2, and 3, and
yeah.
4 is where you followed the ambulance to the hospital.
Oh yeah, that was the third one. That's right.
where I
See?
told that. That's where I told that nurse, I don't know who you
yeah,
are. Call
I get there and it's like
I think I remember during the second heart attack is when I told him I thought he's going to retire. You know, he went back to work, and I thought I remembered the third, and then this one, of course.
I just did the 4th, and I'm back at it still. So we're just.
But the good thing about this one is you recognized it right away. It's like, you know what, something's not right. You didn't wait. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah. He recognized it, calls me. I call him back, and he's like, "Son, I'm a little worried, man. I just had a lot of symptoms, like my first heart attack." I'm like, "Okay, so do we need to go to the hospital?" "No, I got to finish working." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?"
boy.
So I mean, like, he's like, "I feel fine now." And so that was the crazy thing. Is like, I worked with a couple of guys that worked on his shift, like the next day, and they're like, "When did Mark have a heart attack?" I was like, "Yesterday. I was here." Yeah, he had a heart attack. He looked fine to me. And I'm like, nope. Doctors did the EKG, the test. I said, yeah, Mr. Reagan, you had your fourth heart attack. And they're like, we'd have never known. He was just like, that's just the way it is. We joke, a couple of my friends joke about it. It's like, with Mark, death's come knocking a time or two, and Mark's like, I ain't got time for you. You're like, I'll call you when I'm ready.
I gotta make a pizza, man. Come back later.
I got some pizza.
yeah. It's like,
I don't know.
Mark's like, I'll call you and tell you when I'm ready to go. Okay, you just quit wasting time here. So, but anyways, so we're back, man, and it's been crazy. Couple months off for us. We've got the show grandbaby has been baptized and growing good. Mark's having heart attacks, and things have been interesting. I've gone back to school, and but one other thing I do want to get to, and want to just kind of do this as a warning before we get into the movie, is we've all been super excited about the Godzilla store coming to us, over in America. It's been awesome, and it's not awesome. And what I want to tell you listeners is it's a problem. We thought the Godzilla website and store was a great thing, but it's not. This is evil in disguise, and I'm going to show you why. So the reason why it's evil in disguise is because maybe this is just my problem, but in the last...
You keep saying we, but I don't think it's we.
In the last...
I've it's seen it, and I'm like, I held back. I'm like, nope. I got to control myself.
Well, obviously,
others
I can't
have not
control
been,
myself.
So, yeah.
I can't control myself, and the Godzilla store is a problem. So in the last month or so, we have added Began to the collection. I'm just going to pass this off to Mark.
Okay. All right.
We've added Batra Larva to the collection, and
It's like show and tell.
Yeah, we're still going.
It's like the next student.
This is still Pete's fault. I'm still blaming Pete. Varan has been added to the collection.
Oh yeah,
we got our little table. Gorosaurus got added to the collection. I'm not a millionaire, by the way, so he's been added to the collection. We've got Mega King Ghidorah. These are all the Bandai movie monsters.
I like that one.
Added to the collection. We're not done yet.
I'm out of room here. I am out of room.
2004 Manda from Final Wars.
That's the one I like right there. That's
this one's
unique.
pretty freaking sweet. That's been added, and then finally we've got Baragon in the 1965 one. This is I'm just gonna hand it to Mark, and he can do whatever with him at that point.
Yeah.
But look, it's a problem because the prices are awesome and the shipping is cheap and it gets to you quickly. So don't fall in to the evil sin that is the Godzilla store that has become, because it's problematic for some of us. And obviously Mark's standing there with a
this is problematic.
That's very problematic.
This is problematic.
And here's another one. This is another. Well, no, that's from pop culture. Never mind. That's a Bandai Movie Monsters thing. So, anyways, I just want to warn you, listeners.
But I'm proud of you, though.
Are you proud of me?
No new 98s.
I ain't buying none of that 98 crap whatsoever.
Man, maybe this Godzilla
it's not going to happen. Just throw them down somewhere, because I'm not reaching past this microphone again. At this point, it's now your responsibility to deal with all that mess. But so, man, we're here while Mark works out. Let me switch to this camera. While Mark works out his figure situation he's got going on there, we're here back, and we're doing Godzilla Minus One. We all got to see this worldwide when it released November 3rd. Well, it was a month later. We got it in America, and this movie was fantastic, is fantastic. You've probably seen it. Hope you've seen it. If not, spoiler alert here in just a moment. But right now, here's the trailer.
Godzilla? ころに呼ばれたんですか？
政府はこの情報を国民に伏せています。
誰かが貧乏口引かなきゃなんねんだよ。
みんな死んだぞ。
この恥知らず。その怪物は許しちゃくれない。
ゴジラマイナスワン。
All right, and that is the trailer for Godzilla Minus One. And man, this movie is the epitome of Godzilla films. So just some quick info about it. Most of you guys may have already known. This, of course, came out November 3rd in Japan. Came out here stateside December 1st, if I remember correctly. And this was written, directed by, and special effects were supervised and done by Takashi Yamazaki. Now he's known for, he did the Lupin movie, he did Sunset on 3rd Street, but now my favorite one in 2002, he did a movie called Returner that I absolutely love. I found it in a Blockbuster back in like 2004 or something like that when it was brought over here. Fantastic movie. So he's a phenomenal filmmaker. He's won Academy Awards on his other films. But this movie, man, he did, of course, Godzilla does an appearance in the Always Sunset film, a brief scene in a dream sequence, and that design was done by Takashi. And Toho loved it so much that they, of course, we've seen the Godzilla ride that's over there in Japan, and he designed all of that. Actually, his special effects company did the entire visuals for the ride. So that Ghidorah in the ride's his, that Godzilla's his, and you could tell too when you look at the ride, Godzilla the ride version is definitely very similar to the Minus One design. Like they're very, very close. But Takashi did it, and it's done so well. Toho finally said, okay, Takashi, you want to make a Godzilla movie? Absolutely. And he makes just a masterpiece of a film. The budget, we don't know exactly because Toho's always been very tight-lipped on some of these things, especially recently. We know it's somewhere around $12 to $15 million at the most. Well, actually, Takashi even said, no, it's far less than $15 million. So $12 million probably is a good estimate. $12 million budget, okay, and it went on to gross $115 million worldwide. This thing was phenomenal. It was supposed to be here in America for a week. It was #1 box office here in America, and they said, well, we're going to have to extend it. So what they do, gave it another week, and it was still #1 at the box office. They said, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to give it another week. And so this movie went on for over a month here in America, getting repeated plays and added to screens. That's never happened in U.S. cinema history. No film, especially foreign film, has done so well that they said we need to add more time, and then add more time, and then add more time. But they kept doing it for this because it was just knocked out of the park. Then it did so well, they decided, you know what? They were going to do it as a special version for the Blu-ray release to do a minus color version of this, where it's just black and white, and not just like a monochrome filter. They went through and they re-edited scenes to make sure the color, the minus color, the black and white was correct and the lighting was correct. And they brought, that was just going to be one day in Japan, one day worldwide, and it just knocked it out of the box office.
Yeah,
this movie just did wonders worldwide. I mean, it made people remember Godzilla he's the king of pop, like not like music, not like Michael Jackson, but like pop culture. Yeah. No one stands where the king stands, and it went on to win. It was nominated for more Japanese Academy Awards than Shin Godzilla, and it won more Academy Awards than Shin Godzilla. It actually ended up winning 8 Academy Awards in Japan. Shin Godzilla won 7. But then it also became the first Godzilla movie to be nominated for an Academy Award here in the U.S. for Best Special Effects, and it took it home by a long shot. So this movie did wonders. Just killed it in the box office. The movie is phenomenal. It's pretty much a remake of the original. You're talking about the original first showing of Godzilla. You've got some different characters. You got Shikishima. You got who is the kamikaze pilot who runs away from being a kamikaze because he's a coward. And runs into Godzilla on Odo Island, gets everybody killed other than Tachibana, who was one of the head maintenance guy there for the planes. And he's got to deal with coming back home after the war, and his parents are dead, everything's been destroyed, and everyone looks down on him because they blame him. All of his neighbors, the lady that lives across from him, blame him for what happened there because he ran from what he was supposed to do. He's supposed to be a kamikaze pilot, and he chickened out, and they blame him. So he's dealing with that guilt. He's dealing with the guilt of what happened on Odo Island with Godzilla in the beginning of the movie. And then he runs into Noriko, who's this girl who's found this baby, and they kind of are stuck living together because there's no really other choice. He brings them in. And it's a phenomenal drama. Godzilla shows back up. At one point, you think Noriko dies. Spoiler alert, she doesn't. He's dealing with so much loss and guilt and has to face Godzilla, who the Japanese army can't give them any help, this town any help. So the citizens and the retired military have to come together to try and stop Godzilla. And it's just phenomenal. The movie is absolutely incredible. I saw it 5 times in theaters. Mark, how many times did you see it?
3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
Ruben, how about you? How many times did you get to see it in theaters?
2, 3. 3. Twice in color, 1 in black and white.
Yeah.
Well, no, I've seen it twice in the theater, and then I've seen it once.
I'm not
Plex.
counting the time I watched it on the Plex.
On the Plex, yeah. So, well, if you include that, then I think I'm at 8, maybe 9.
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal. 5 times in theaters, 4 times in color, once in black and white. I've never seen a Godzilla movie in theaters as much as I have this one, and it's unreal. Unreal
great.
movie. So let's dive into it, man. What did we think? Mark, we'll take it with you, man. What did you think of the movie?
Man, and you'll see when I do my ratings, my Stompdown ratings, but phenomenal movie. I mean, you get into Godzilla, you get into all the action, all that's going on with the special effects and how the movie is, but then there's a whole other drama of the humans going through that just makes a separate movie. Could make a separate movie altogether based on that, because you just can't get enough. You get so intertwined in what's going on between all the characters that you're steady into that. Then here comes Godzilla, and he's going to pop out again. And to me, it's just they did a remarkable job making the movie. Everything looks good, looks so real and authentic. And then when we got to go back, and me and you had went and watched it in black and white, it just brought the nostalgia that it brought back. It just, it took you back to 54, which was just so great. I think overall, top movie. It's moved into my top spot. So I mean, just kind of give that little squealer out there.
So it took down 2019's King of the Monsters.
Yes, it
and
did.
It's become number 1.
It's went to number 1.
I think that's very, very well
went to
deserved.
number 1. Yes, it has. And so I'm definitely all thumbs up and all smiles with it.
Ruben, what about you, sir? What did you think of Minus One?
Well, to me, Minus One, without being sacrilegious, is the closest thing I'm going to get to Godzilla 54 as far as a perfect film. Matter of fact, I thought it was very well done, and I'm going to sound, I feel guilty just saying it, but I enjoyed it more than 54 as far as enjoying it. 54 is an iconic film. It's, if we do a stomp rating of 5, it's not going to be fair, because it's going to be the 54 is the king of all monster movies, if you ask me. But this one was so well done, because the real testimony goes to Cindy, my wife, because she went with me to see this movie, and it's subtitled. So there, she had to read everything, and she got into it. She was into it. She was invested in the characters. She was, so to me, if it sucks somebody like her, who's not really a big monster movie fan, when she sees me watching them, she doesn't sit and watch them with me or anything like that. It tells a lot about how well this film was done. Me, I liked it from beginning to end. There was nothing I did not like about this movie. Creature design top notch, acting design top notch. Everything about it was great. And then, I watched it in color, which is great, and everything was great about it. I didn't see any glitches in it, considering the budget they had. When you think about all these big budget movies that you see nowadays, and then you always catch something. This one, I did not see an imperfection in this movie. Usually a monster movie is heavy on the monsters, light on the human side of the story. It's very rare that you get a perfect balance like you did with this movie. In this movie, you just got a perfect balance. It was great. Even there's a line that stuck in my head. And I'm like, man, this movie is so profound. It's when he's getting ready to get in the plane. He's going to go meet Godzilla for the final time. And I believe it's in that scene. And I don't know if it's one of the generals talking but it's there where they're talking about Godzilla. And he says that they're getting what they deserve because the Japanese government didn't value human life like they were supposed to. Talking about the kamikaze pilots. In other words, they were sacrificing people just for the sake of the war. And I thought that was so profound. I'm like, man, he's right. In other words, they were just, you're going to be a kamikaze and you're just going to die. And the fact that culture just kind of, like you were mentioning, they blamed him. Like he came back home and that was bad that he survived the war. And even he had to live with that for the longest time. And he also said that, like, he wouldn't marry that girl. What's her name? That girl, because he said he was still fighting the war.
Yeah.
And he kept saying that. And not till the end of the movie that, like, I got it, but I've understood it better toward the end of the movie when he goes, well, I came back alive, and he felt guilt just for that, which you hear a lot about soldiers coming back like that, where they feel guilty because their friends died and they didn't.
Yeah.
So this movie really touched on some subjects that could grab anybody in. And that, for me, that I'm talking about this more than I'm talking about Godzilla. What does that tell you about this film? Because Godzilla was the star of the film. I thought this was the best design. It certainly beats, to me, it beats Legendary's version of Godzilla, who takes a nap every 5 minutes. I don't know why he needs to rest, but somehow he does. And this Godzilla was just awesome. The scenes in the water were done so well. The chase scene where he's chasing down their boat.
Oh, that was very
awesome.
much Jaws. That was Jaws
great.
all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just thought they were just like Jaws, but Godzilla instead.
Exactly. I was like, man, it's kind of like it's a cat and mouse game, and there's no way they're going to get away. I'm like, it's useless. They're not going to get away. And then, of course, he gets distracted a little bit by the military. And I thought how they even threw in the geopolitical thing where the Cold War was heating up, so U.S. couldn't get involved. Yep. I'm like, man, that's all great as compared to like Shin Godzilla. That is a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but that geopolitical part was almost boring, where this one wasn't. It didn't seem boring to me. Like I was interested in it. And when Godzilla goes tearing through the city with no regard for anything, it's like 54, where he was just a force of nature just going through. But it seems like the destruction was even, more dramatic, I guess would be a word, than 54. And 54 was pretty dramatic with, like you always mention a scene about the where they're huddled, where the family's huddled, and they're like, we're going to see your dad pretty soon, and we're going to join him. That was on that level, this movie. And then that's just the color version that I'm talking about. Then you add the extra layer when it gets released in black and white, and it's almost like you're watching a whole different movie. Yeah. Mark mentioned it. The nostalgia automatically kicked in because I think I mentioned it. I wanted to message this, but to me, I'm like, man, they added grain to this. They added that 54 feel to it. That this movie was made in the 1950s, not in the 2000s, not in the 2020s, and it just added to the film, and it made it more of a Godzilla film, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it
made
does.
it more of a Godzilla film, and made it more. It kind of just hit home how close it was, if not surpassing 54 as far as a film goes.
I think
that's it. I'll let you talk now. I know I talked quite a bit there.
What was amazing about it is that, you know, Legendary had come out and with all their movies and the MonsterVerse and everything, and but Toho stepped it up above when they come out with Minus One.
Oh yeah,
to where, you know, they're the originators of Godzilla, and they really showed it by bringing this out, and, you know, all the hype and everything from Legendary's, you know, Godzilla movies and Kong and all this MonsterVerse stuff going on. But then Toho comes in and just knocks it out of the water, man. It's out of the ballpark. You know, you couldn't ask for more from Toho and the way they handled this and come up with this.
Oh, I completely agree. Well, yeah, it was like, and not that it was like they were attacking Legendary.
No, not at all.
Means, but like they did. They came out and was like, all right, Legendary's doing fantastic.
Yeah.
But now it's our turn, and we're going to remind you who created Godzilla.
Exactly.
You know, and who does it the best. And they really, really, really did. For this movie, man, I mean, there's, you know, and Ruben, you kind of just said it, man. I mean, like, if it's not on par with 54, it's above.
Yes,
and it's not to knock 54 in any ways. That's really to praise Yamazaki and what he did, especially with the special effects. I mean, he got to come over. They did an extra viewing at Skywalker Ranch for this movie to just get him to come watch it there. And guess who shows up there? Steven Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg tells him, dude, I've seen your film 4 times. Because it is a masterpiece. Steven Spielberg tells you your movie's a masterpiece. Dude, I would retire immediately.
Right there.
You know, like, I'm done. Nothing's ever going to change this, you know? And a side note from the movie, what was so cool to see, especially with it coming out, is you getting to see Yamazaki and getting to see Wingard, who did Godzilla vs. Kong and then Godzilla X Kong, go to the premieres together. And they're both there with their Godzilla figures respectively. You know what I mean? Like, right. They, you know, Yamazaki's got his -1 figure and Wingard's got his Godzilla X Kong figure. I mean, it brought the fandom together worldwide, this movie did. Yeah. And to me, it is. It's phenomenal. It's the first time ever. I felt like I was watching The Dark Knight again. And by saying this, The Dark Knight was the first time I watched a Batman movie and forgot Batman was in it because of Heath Ledger's The Joker.
Yeah.
Right? So watching this -1 movie is the first time I've ever watched a Godzilla movie and forgot, oh yeah, Godzilla's in this, because of the story of Shikishima's, and then and Noriko coming in with the baby, and Tachibana. I mean, the mechanic from Odo Island. You know, he's got to call him back to help him build this plane to stop Godzilla. And, you know, he can't find him because he's gone recluse because of what happened on the island. They're the only 2 that survived, that he has to write letters and send it to every known location he could have been. And in the letter, just to get him, he blames Tachibana for what happened on Odo Island, when clearly it's Shikishima's fault, not Tachibana's. Right. And that scene with them 2, dude, was just, I mean, he's got him tied up.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, how dare you blame me? And he just starts beating him, you know, and then walks away, and you see him crawl, you know, still tied up, crawl in the doorway, and he looks at Tachibana and he's like, our war's not over. And that's what hits Tachibana. He's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Our war isn't over. And so to see all the layers of what these characters are dealing with, him waking up with the nightmares, you know, and the ghosts of these people that died on the island because he couldn't fire the gun in his, you know, in his plane to try and stop him because he locked up and got scared again. It's unbelievable, man. And you did have those moments like Ruben, you talked about a second ago, that I bring up with the 54 film. the mom and the children in the alleyway. To me, that's one of those moments in cinema history that is, I mean, that's to me, I would put that in the top 5 greatest moments of all cinema. Is that scene is so, to me, is so heavy. You have those moments in this movie.
Yeah.
You even have a throwback kind of thing there where when he first fires his nuclear blast, well, one, he attacks the city and Shikishima comes and saves Noriko and they're running away. And then all of a sudden, spikes start popping out of Godzilla's tail.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
was amazing.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
this introduction to and display of the atomic breath is the greatest that there ever was, and may ever will be. I mean, this and Shin Godzilla was very impressive. Like, that was jaw dropping impressive. That wasn't like this. Like, this was a whole nother level. But you have that moment in Giza where he's at, and spines are coming up.
Yeah.
And he grabs, and they're all looking, and then he fires the blast, the explosion happens, the shock wave comes flying through with the flame stuff, and then she turns and shoves him into that alley, and then boom, she's gone. I think it's kind of convenient. It's an alleyway, but I almost feel like that was almost a throwback to that scene in 54, because that moment when he walks out and everyone's gone, Noriko's gone, and then it starts raining black ash on him and he's screaming at Godzilla right there in front of him. Dude, that moment, I was like, you did it.
No.
You did it. That scene with the mom and the kids, you just did it. This one. And the whole movie, man, every bit of it was phenomenal. The death of Godzilla was incredible. I mean, and Ruben, like, Cindy went, your wife went, my wife went, and my wife cried. My wife does not watch foreign films. She does not watch Godzilla films. She's gotten into the newer stuff, but she doesn't watch monster movies. She doesn't watch stuff that's subtitled. And she was so invested. I mean, she went from sitting in her chair to, up in it. She was so hooked. Everybody was hooked. And the movie was phenomenal. The movie will pull tears from your eyes multiple times every time you see it. So, I mean, to me, it's the bar was set with 54. And if the bar doesn't remain there, it's been notched up a little bit higher.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
If this proves anything, it proves to you that you have to get the right person to make a film.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you can have a great script, you can have a great special effects guy and everything, but if you don't have the right director making the film, you could tell this guy knew Godzilla, loved what Godzilla was about, kaiju in general. To me, this is just a excellent argument on why you get somebody like him rather than Roland Emmerich or stuff like, because
Absolutely.
even, we've had a lot of Godzilla films, right? Good, bad, in between. And this just is just, I just could not believe how good this was done. I wasn't expecting it to hit like it did and to take off like it did in the United States, because you guys know a lot of times Godzilla's a punchline to a joke, and you hear in America like, Godzilla, they go back to the campy Showa era, and and I think this proved that Godzilla 54 wasn't a fluke, and that Godzilla was actually a serious film to begin with. It got campier as it went on, but this takes it back and almost resets everything for Godzilla, because now he's an eminent and Legendary helped out a whole lot with that, because Legendary pretty much kind of set this up for Godzilla, but they still made Godzilla kind of like not really an adversary. He was more kind of like a protector of the humans in the Legendary series. But he was still destructive, and so Legendary kind of laid the foundation, and then Toho came in, and like both of you guys mentioned, and they said, you know what, we're going to show you what we can do because we're the originators. We know what it's all about, and they hired the right guy for it. That's all I gotta say about that. Is they hired the right guy. They could have hired anybody, and we could have ended up with the Final Wars for all we know, right?
Yeah.
Which I love Final Wars, by the way. I'm not knocking Final Wars, but if they would have came up with a Final Wars type of film, that would not have been, it wouldn't have done as well as it did. Because then it would have been all about, and this one was a dead serious film. It's what it was. It wasn't a campy monster movie. This was a dead serious drama that just happened to have Godzilla in it.
Yep. So, all right. Well, that is what we thought about it. I think it's time. It's Stompdown rating time. All right, so it is time to rate this film, and it doesn't happen often. It has 118 episodes. We could probably count on one hand how many times this has happened, but unanimously from us at the Stompdown, 5 stomps all the way.
Without a doubt. Without a
doubt. Ruben, would you disagree?
I would not disagree with that statement. 5 is, in fact, like I said when I was describing this one, I would give this one a 5, and I would argue that 54 only on the fact that it made history would get maybe a half stomp more. But this one, and I said I felt guilty, but I really don't feel guilty about saying this. I enjoyed this one more than 54, and we'll probably end up watching it more than 54. As far as like, what do I feel like watching? 54 or this one, I might pop this one in more. Because I've seen 54 so many times, it's a little unfair. But this is just great. And I'm just hoping when they come out with the Blu-ray or 4K, whatever they do, that both versions of the film are available. I haven't heard if they're going to do the black and white or not.
So, yes, when they do, they're looking around May, last I heard. But the Blu-ray will come with the color and the minus color version, so it will be on.
Oh, cool!
You will get both.
I was hoping they'd do 4K because 4K is region free and Blu-ray is not, as far as I know. So, like, I would not have a Blu-ray player that would play the Toho. Does the Toho stuff play on American Blu-rays?
My Toho Blu-rays do. At least on my
maybe.
Well, I use my PlayStation 4 for my Blu-rays, and
okay.
But all my Toho Blu-rays play on it just fine. So, but I'm sure they'll have 4K out as well. I'll be pulling it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean there you go, man. I mean, no argument, no disagreement. This movie, 5 stomps.
Oh, without a doubt,
without question, it is just.
And we are going to get a sequel. I assume it sounds like.
Yes, we're going to eventually at some point get a sequel to this one. That's what it's hinting. That's what it sounded like. I don't know if they've officially greenlit it yet or not. Of course, as soon as I find out, I'll be posting it on the socials for everybody to see. So, but I mean, hey, we're reviewing Godzilla Minus One here. Godzilla Kong's already out. We've seen it. That is going to be the next episode. But when this comes out, you should already know because we put it on the socials. Season 2 of Monarch has been greenlit with spinoffs. Yeah. Most likely going to get a sequel to Godzilla X Kong with the way this thing's been smashing the box office as well. Godzilla's here to stay, and he ain't going anywhere anytime fast by any means.
And all this did was rejuvenate. Not that he was down for the count or anything, but this just fast-tracked a lot of Godzilla stuff, I think.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
That with Legendary, the way Legendary's doing Godzilla, and there's no stopping him now.
Nope, not at all.
So I'm loving it. I'm even loving all the Kong stuff too. So I don't think Kong will ever get a standalone anymore because Godzilla is just part of the mythos now. So Skull Island is probably the last standalone Kong movie we'll ever see.
Yeah. I think Wingard brought it up a point in an interview to sidetrack to those films. Is he says they kind of messed up putting Godzilla and Kong on screen together because he said he's like now you kind of can't do it without both of them. You know, it's
exactly.
Now that you've got the two greatest movie monsters of all time on screen together, they kind of have to be from now on. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. So, which I'm not going to disagree with that at all.
No, but man, it's a great time to be alive if you're a monster fan.
Yep, absolutely. So
without a doubt.
Who knows what this might lead to? A Gamera film. Or
that is what needs to happen.
You never know.
That is
somebody might say, hey, maybe they'll like a giant turtle.
Hopefully somebody from Dai Katakawa is watching this and listening to Ruben. Gamera needs to come back. Like, we got Rebirth and stuff, but we need a live action one, serious one for sure. So
yeah, I think it would do well. They got to strike while the iron's hot, and I think this is the time.
Yep, agree 100%.
This is the time to do it.
All right, guys. Well, there is a Stompdown ready for Godzilla Minus One. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. But now it is time to get to the part y'all love the most. It's time to test your might.
Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might.
All right. Okay. And we are back. And again, thanks to Kurt Harper for sending us some questions for Test Your Might.
Yes.
We're excited to get back into this one. I honestly, I don't even remember what the last movie was. Were you supposed to watch a movie? We'll let it slide.
I had a heart attack.
Yeah, he had a heart attack. We'll let it slide.
Back of my notes.
Ruben's probably got
I was
it listed.
supposed to watch something, and I cannot remember the life of me.
But
what it was.
He had to go have a heart attack, so we'll let it slide there for him. So again, thanks to the one Kurt Harper
Thank you,
for
Kurt.
sending us questions, and we'll get those pulled up here. And 3 questions this time. Kurt did say, welcome back, fellas. Let's test that might. Kurt, we are glad to be back. Thank you. Also, again, thanks to Kurt. He's been supplying a lot of the Friday night fights recently, and he's done a great job with those. I had an absolute blast with what he's
You ever
done
going
so
to
far.
supply snacks and stuff like that?
I don't know. He needs to.
He does.
I know it.
He does.
Maybe if he shows up in studio one day.
Yeah, he needs to.
He's not far from us. He's only in
Yeah.
Knoxville.
Yeah, he needs to come on.
I keep saying we got somebody can supply snacks, and we'll give them a free. Sponsorship. We'll put a Pizza Plus sign up up there.
Hey,
I won't get any, but at least
wouldn't have a
Sludge can
problem,
get
though.
something
Wouldn't
out
have
of
a
it.
problem.
Yeah, we'd be okay with some Pizza Plus pizza.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. Pizza Plus sponsored episode and have Kurt show up for it as well. So
Okay, it'd be
which
good.
would be great. But
It'd be good.
all right, let's jump into this. First question from Kurt is: airplanes are always menacing kaiju. What is the nickname of the plane that was instrumental in Godzilla's demise in Minus One? Was it A, the Cyclone Strike, B, the Thundercracker, or C, the Magnificent Lightning? The nickname of the plane that was instrumental in Godzilla's demise in Minus One.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Come on, you come on. You
I
have to
cannot remember
that.
it. Give me them again.
All right, A, the Cyclone Strike, B, the Thundercracker, or C, the Magnificent Lightning?
Hey, Mark, I'll help you out. I'll help you out. You watch Transformers?
No.
You know anything about them?
No.
That eliminates one of them.
Yep. That help you at all? Nope, it did not help him at all. So,
Okay, you didn't watch it. Okay.
What was it again now?
gosh, okay. A, the Cyclone Strike, B, the Thundercracker, or C, the Magnificent Lightning?
Okay.
All right. Number 2, Shikishima feels immense shame for not carrying out his duties in the war. How does he view his young shipmates' inexperience in war? The younger guy on the boat. A, as a virtue, B, as a disgrace, or C, as something to be jealous of? How does he view his young shipmates' inexperience in war? A, as a virtue, B, as a disgrace, or C, as something to be jealous of?
I know I'm speaking too soon, Kurt, but thanks a lot, bud, because I'm not going to be watching a bad movie.
Watching a bad movie. All right. We ready? Ready, Ruben?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 3. Where did the sound team go to recreate Godzilla's iconic roar? A, an airplane hangar, B, baseball stadium, or C, cooling tower at a power plant?
I have no idea.
I'm guessing at that one. I'm going to be honest. Like that one, I'm guessing.
Kurt, I take it back.
Ruben just took it all back.
I'm going to guess on that one, too. Okay.
Where did the sound team go to recreate Godzilla's iconic roar? A, an airplane hangar, B, a baseball stadium, or C, cooling tower at a power plant? All right, are we ready for the answers?
I'm not, but go ahead.
All right, we'll pull them up. Number 1, airplanes are always menacing kaiju. What is the nickname of the plane that was instrumental in Godzilla's Minus One? The answer is C, the Magnificent Lightning.
I got it right.
Boom.
All right.
What?
Thundercracker was a jet and
Transformers, yep.
Yeah, that's why I said B.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well,
it's
I
either
was
A
leaning
or
on
C.
A, and I actually wrote A down and then scratched
Like,
it out.
nah,
Let's see.
Good job on that one. Number 2, Shikishima feels immense shame for not carrying out his duties in war. How does he view his young shipmates' inexperience in war? Correct answer is A, as a virtue.
Yes.
That's 2. Number 3, where did the sound team go to recreate Godzilla's iconic roar? And that would be B, baseball stadium.
I missed
Yes.
it.
I got that one.
I had
The power plant just didn't seem right to me.
The power plant, yeah, but then
Yeah,
an
power
airport
plant didn't
hangar,
sound
I
right.
thought, well, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
That was
A
a
and B were the
possibility.
2 closest
Yeah.
ones.
So,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I saw baseball stadium, and to be honest, what popped in my head was that Japanese baseball star whose nickname is Godzilla. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with that one. Just that was literally the straw I was pulling at for that one. So, all right, I got 3 for 3. Mark,
3 for 3.
2 out of 3.
Ruben got 3 for 3.
I got 2 out of 3.
All right, so Mark, what do you watch? Ruben, what was he supposed to watch? Ruben, did you find out in your notebook?
Let me see if I can find that.
Why?
Real quick
Why do you?
here.
You didn't have to write that down, Ruben.
He keeps the notes there. That's one
Yeah,
of the
I'm the one
things
that
that's great.
keeps the notes, but for some reason, let's see here.
I'll just go ahead and watch Godzilla X Kong again.
Oh, because that seems like worthy of the penalty
Yeah.
film. That one, which
I know it was a horrible one. It sounded horrible.
Oh, it did.
Let's see. But I'm sorry, Mark. I just don't have any notes on that.
Okay, well that's that's a shame.
lucked out. So okay,
Got it.
Ruben, do you have one on the fly on draw here for Mark?
Yes, actually, as a matter of fact, I do. You're watching 1979's Bog, B-O-G.
Bog. B-O-G.
Wow, and I actually have that. It's on the Plex.
Is it?
It is on the
but there
Plex.
you go.
It is.
All right.
So,
Man,
I will watch it.
I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on that turd fest
Bog.
because it's
oh, God. Finally, I pick one that y'all don't say, oh, I love that movie. That's all I ever hear
This
when I
one's
pick
pretty.
one.
This one's pretty rough.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Definitely
so I'll
one
figure that
for the
out
Mystery
when-
Science
we'll get
3000 crew for sure. So good pick there, Ruben. I'm going to agree with you.
Thanks,
on that.
Ruben.
That was a good
Thanks
one.
a lot.
So,
Well, now I'm going to give you somebody to be angry at. Who do you think messaged me that suggestion? Somebody messaged me and told me this is a penalty movie.
Pete.
And I'm like, yeah, Pete.
Pete. I should have known it would be Pete.
See,
It'd have to be Pete.
all these figures are your fault, Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
And then now Mark's going to watch Bog.
Pete, it's his fault you're watching Bog.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's his fault that you bought all those figures.
Yep. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
good
So,
job, Pete. I should have known.
All right, guys. Well, man, it's been fun. It is good to be back, and we're super excited about it. We've got some great episodes coming up. The next episode coming up is, of course, going to be Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire. We've all seen it, some of us multiple times, and we cannot wait to review this film. This one's going to be an absolute blast. And then the next one following up with that is Ruben pick. We're doing a made-for-TV movie that was great. Came out called Empire of the Ants.
Empire of the Ants.
If you guys haven't seen that one, that's a good one. I'm glad that Ruben picked that one. That was a major childhood movie for me. Every time it was on TBS, I would throw it on, man. Like I loved it. It was the sound of the ants got me. Like it was super good. So, but we've got those coming up. And man, again, it's good to be back. We're super glad to be back. And just make sure, go follow us on all the social pages. Join us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Become part of the little community we got, man. Multiple times a week, we're putting out new content for you guys with the Underdogs, with the Monster Mash Wednesdays, Friday Night Fights. And then we all communicate together, man. We all put stuff together out there, and it's been an absolute blast. And we love it. And we'd love to see you join. And again, thank you all so much. Yes. This is Sludge.
And the Lorax.
And you got the grandpa in Texas.
Here you go.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
All right, y'all.